All right, guys, we are here at San Diego Comic-Con with Sir Richard Taylor. How does it feel to be back at Comic-Con with your own booth space?
Yeah, well, it's great to be back with our booth space. We were here last year, we just didn't have our booth, but this is our patch, and we've only been able to come back because of the lovely generosity of that amazing team over there, the Legend Story Studios. They're a bunch of Kiwis as well, so rock on Kiwis. And they have just been incredibly generous and invited us along as well. But it's nice to be here with you, Matt, and Kelly behind the camera.
Yes. All right, so the big unveiling, I feel like it's very present in the shot right now, so we have to talk about it first.
What?
The huge unveiling from yesterday, the Fellowship of the Ring, they're here in Moria. Tell us about this piece. What went into making this?
Well, this is a year and a half of our lives. Jules ran this project. We've been trying to think for 25 years, of course, how to do the fellowship, right? Firstly, you've got to build up confidence in our company that we could find a fan group that would be into something of this scale. And then we've always thought about the fellowship as the line of the fellowship, the silhouette of the fellowship. But of course, no one's got a table that long. And Jules came up with the idea of them ascending the stairs in Moria. It suddenly made sense, and it felt that it was the right time to do it. So every sculptor that works at Weta has spent time on this piece, numerous model makers, the paint department, etc. And I think it's glorious. I think it's every year that we do the Masters collection, I go, it's the best thing we've ever made. But I think this is actually the best thing we've ever made.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. I think this might be the best thing you guys have ever made, which is saying a lot, I must say.
I think we've nailed the characters, but also the relationship between the characters. You know, Boromir is a person for the men, a person for the people, and he's often misunderstood because of the way he turns. But got to remember, just before this moment, he was fighting on the front. He's journeyed huge distance to get here. I can't remember exactly, but I think he loses his horse on the way.
Yes.
And here he is helping Sam. There's no animosity to these characters. He wants to make sure the fellowship stays safe.
And he's often looking out for the hobbits throughout Fellowship.
Yeah,
He's often
correct. Yeah, I mean, he's a guardian. He's got the virtues of a king, and so I love that relationship. Interestingly, 2 days before it was to pack and travel here, I stuck my oar in and I said, where are the corpses? The corpses from the original illustrations of 2.5 years ago, because I naturally thought that they were getting made and they'd just get slotted in. But Jules had to tell me 2 days before it shipped that there weren't any corpses. And I said, humbug, we're having the corpses. So, because you don't have the narrative, you don't have the pathos of Gimli looking at the helmet, if you don't have the ancestor from which the helmet has come. And if you've got a dwarf corpse, then you have to have a goblin corpse. And Jules's argument, very worthy argument, was, but how do the fellowship step over them? To which I said,
don't worry about it,
don't
Jules.
worry
Just
about
do
that.
it.
Yeah. If Peter Jackson worried about that type of detail, we wouldn't have Legolas sliding down Oliphant trunks, would we?
Right.
So myself and another guy scratch built this in that 2 days, and someone 3D modeled and printed the other figure in 2 days, and we got them in. They are optional, so people can take them out if they don't like them, but I like them because they complete the narrative of the piece.
Now, I know, we've talked about statues that you guys have done, that other folks have done that you're just a fan of, and I know you love, the details or particularly difficult things that you guys pull off. What in this piece sticks out to you from a craftsmanship perspective?
Well, first and foremost, I've talked from time to time about not just trying to catch the character, you're trying to catch the soul of the character in the sculpture. That's an unbelievably difficult thing to do. But I really think after 25 years of sculpting these different individuals, I really think that we've got the personality and the soul of each character in them. I feel like this is Pippin, this is Billy's character coming alive, and Orlando, always on the lookout, always aware. He's sensing that there is danger. He knows there's danger. He just can't quite sight it, right? Gandalf still trying to give confidence to Frodo, but he himself knows that out in the darkness. So I love the narrative that's written into the piece. I love how that narrative spirals up. I hope people mount them on turntables. We tried very hard to ship it with a turntable, but because we can't show proof of origin of the materials in the turntable, which is now a pre-requirement of shipping into the US, we couldn't ship a turntable. But I hope people do this. Because to me, it's beautiful watching the story unfold as it climbs the stairs. Yeah,
it's just amazing to sit here and, like you said, just follow the natural
reading through Tolkien's writing. To me, like you've started at the front of the chapter and you start to read and it unfolds. I love the goblin graffiti, for instance, and the little tiny moments of mithril that are reflecting in the rock. Like the dwarves knew that because they're building a set of stairs, although they could chase that mithril, they've chosen not to because they would undermine the very structure that they're trying to build. I love the decision that the sculptor Sean Bolton made, where he left rock and where he dressed the rock back to the shape of the stairs. And something when I was a young person, my wife and I went to England and Europe for 6 months, and one of the things I was most fascinated by was the way that stone stairs wear down in spiral staircases into belfries of castles, right, or cathedrals. So I was insistent that we had to dish the stairs so it felt like thousands of years of feet have climbed these stairs.
That's a great detail.
Yeah, so good fun.
And of course, I love that, the title of the piece is The Fellowship of the Ring. And I love that it doesn't just stop at the Fellowship, but you also got Gollum tracking them through Moria.
And Aragorn always following, always protecting the rear guard, but he knows something's afoot, something's creeping in the shadows. And here comes Gollum, right? Poor little character that he is. And he's been splashing through the water. His feet are wet.
The water looks really cool too.
Yeah, it does look really beautiful. Trying to get, it's easy to pour water, but sometimes it doesn't quite look milky enough. It's no good if the water's totally clear because the water wouldn't be in this environment. Bits of the ironwork of the dwarves that have collapsed and fallen. And although I won't tell you what it says, you might be able to read it. But here the inscription is a acknowledgement to the people that have supported us over the last 25 years and allowed us to make beautiful things like this. So this is our little acknowledgement to those people.
I texted it to my Dwarvish guy as soon as you guys unveiled it so that I could find out what it says. Now, one of the things, since it's turning around here, that it took me a while to notice it, but like it kind of messes with my mind now, is the reflection of the flame, because it's not an actual, light, but the painting that you guys have done on it makes it looks like it's reflecting, and it just seems so natural to me that I didn't even process in my mind what I was actually seeing, but that's actual painted reflection. That's
we debated
really cool.
at length whether we should put a light in a translucent flame and in the crystal, and we chose not to, but therefore we had to have the guttering of the flame reflecting up under the rock. And I would argue that Jules was probably a little bit tentative initially, and so I had to push him, and we kept making it bolder. I think it's right now. I think it's lovely.
He might have mentioned that you were more aggressive with the orange than...
Come on, Jules.
I'm sensing a trend of your relationship with Jules here a little bit.
We have the most glorious friendship, but also the most unique of tension. Always friendly, but always trying to push him to be braver.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy to be tentative, because you don't want to become gauche and overly chocolate box lidish, right? But then if you're not bold, a piece can feel, you know, a bit like an oversucked lolly. It's got to be crisp and sharp, and you've got to taste the tang in your mouth. And so I'm always trying to find that.
Well, that's probably, as of right now, I find new details, I feel like, that become my new favorite whenever I look at one of your guys' pieces for a period of time. But right now, I just love that glow because it's something that makes the flame feel real, even though I know it's not real, obviously. But it's just one of those things that sells the feel of it even more.
The trick of the light,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
at the end
trick
of the
the
day.
light.
And hopefully, when people light it for nighttime, I hope that it will ping up.
Yeah. Now, the big question that a lot of people have asked, even on the video that I posted just yesterday, when are you expecting this piece to be available for folks?
I'm not the right person to ask that question. That's definitely a Jules question.
Okay, that's a Jules. We'll talk to Jules at some point. Yeah.
I hope quickly, but you know these things. It's got 10 figures in it.
Yeah.
Just roto casting the central piece of masonry is a incredibly tricky thing. And then how do we actually package it, right?
I was wondering
I
that
want
actually.
it badly to go in one box. It would be a shame if it had to be in two boxes, but because I think there's nothing greater than opening the box and the smell of the resin and then starting to take the pieces out. Like when my wife and we still live in the same house that we lived in when I first started my garage kit collection, but we had no furniture for years, right? We had 2 beanbags. So I used to take my collectibles out of the box, whether they were vinyl or resin, and lay them out on the carpet and just lie amongst them, literally, right? And pick them up, smell them, touch them, study them. Because as soon as you assemble them and paint them, you can't really do that anymore. So I hope it comes in a box so people can take the joy of taking these pieces out. So
I had some folks laugh at me because I mentioned the new statue smell when I opened Radagast and Roscobel.
Yeah.
It's a real thing. It's a
yeah,
very
it
real
is.
thing.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's lovely. It's not the same smell that vinyl has, which I love. I hunted down the 1-to-1 scale of Spike out of Gremlins 2. It was made by a Japanese company, and I tracked it down to a trader mark in Manchester by snail mail. This is pre-email. And I paid the most money I'd ever paid for a collectible. It was $1,000 at the time, which back then was... And it took 6 months to turn up. Eventually I thought I'd lost the money, but it finally turned up. I unpacked that, and it took me nearly a year to assemble it because I just couldn't stop smelling the parts, cuddling the parts, right? Test fitting them together. Yeah. I didn't want to trim off the flashing off the vinyl. It was pathetic. But, oh my God, I had a love affair with that bloody model kit. Eventually, I glued it together and painted it. It's the most time I've ever spent painting a collectible. And then Steve Wang came to our workshop. Him and Mio, his wife, got married at our place in Wellington. And he came to the workshop, and I had it on display on my desk, and he signed it because he painted the original. And so I look at it every day. It sits right next to my computer. And, so I know what the emotions of fanatical collectors are, and I share that emotion.
Yeah. Well, now I'm imagining like cuddling each one of the Fellowship, on this piece. Yes, yeah. Now, obviously this is the big piece. You guys have some other pieces that are coming out. I know Kirith Ungol is one that's on the horizon.
That was one of my favorite miniatures that we built.
Oh, really?
I just love the architectural style of the design, and we built a big miniature of that. And so to get to do the collectible and the footage of it that's on the television, there's some shots that actually look like the real miniature, which is really good. So it's exciting. We've got Grey Havens we launched a while ago, but that's still here. The Black Gates we've got here, and of course Edoras, which is a beautiful piece as well.
Yeah, I see. And you've got a good collection of 1/6 scales over there. I know the King of the Dead is one that I saw that you guys were working on when I was down there
Yes, that's
in
right.
2024, and
take a long
it
time.
looks fantastic.
It does, hey, it is miraculous. Yeah.
The translucent,
Yeah.
green, like it just seems like the perfect balance.
Well,
And
there's a gamble, right? That
Yeah.
could look plasticky, but it doesn't. It's worked, and that's all Jules and his team. The Boromir, I think, is one of the finest sculptures we've ever done. That Boromir is so beautiful. He's holding up the ring in the snow, and his mind is duplicitous. He's trying to gate his emotions, and it's taking hold of him. It's a very complex moment, and of course, one of the world's great actors captured that moment perfectly. We're trying to get that into a sculpture the size of your thumbnail. That is critical that we caught that moment, but I feel we got it, and I love that piece. It's got some of the finest detail of anything we've done. So
it sounds like an incredibly difficult thing to do, and yet you guys seem to make it look easy every single time.
You've been down to our place. It isn't easy, as you've seen. It's never a toil, but it is definitely a pilgrimage from the beginning to the end, and it's really difficult position that maybe myself is in, ultimately Jules to a certain degree, because you don't want to suppress the ardor of the individual that's doing it, but you mustn't settle for anything but the best that's possible. And of course we have different levels of capability, because there's young people training to become as good as the people that have been with us a long time. And you need to give them a go, and you need to give them the confidence that they can do it. But of course, they also can't deliver anything less than what the best sculptor can do. So you're in this incredible push and pull as you try and elevate a piece. Sometimes it's easy because the person just gets it, and other times it can be challenging. But it's critical. Being a collector myself, I don't want to settle for anything but the best. We do make mistakes, we do miss things, right? We never do it intentionally, of course. It appears some people think that maybe we do it intentionally. Someone actually caught the fact that the white knife under the hilt there isn't white enough. Jules and I didn't catch it, and someone picked it up online. Good on them, and thank you for letting us know, but it's actually a slip up on our behalf. It's just, we think we've covered every single detail, and like I was part of the team that made the original white knives. They're hanging on our wall in the workshop. I can see them every day, but we still didn't get it quite the right shade of white. So it's a passionate thing, and we've got to get it right.
Well, it shows how much people still care about these films.
We never take it in a negative way. It's only positive. It's incredible that people care so much, and we appreciate people. We don't have any animosity towards these notes. We appreciate in the manner that they are delivered. If they're delivered nicely, we appreciate people helping us to get it right. It's a community of collectors, right? So it's a community of makers.
Well, speaking of a community of makers, one of the things I loved that you mentioned when you unveiled this yesterday is that this piece was pretty much touched by everyone in the workshop had a hand in creating this piece. That in itself seems pretty amazing.
To say everyone is an over-exaggeration, but everyone that works within our collectibles pipeline, but also our moulding shop and our manufacturing pipeline for our film work also worked on it. Our paint shop, I think every individual in the paint shop worked on it. In fact, our master painter that's been with me since he was a student, who actually elevated Surisak's Champanuth. He actually came over, he came from Laos and joined us at the beginning of Lord of the Rings as straight out of his student life. And he ultimately elevated to run our paint shop for many, many years. He's taking a year off, but he didn't leave until this was finished, right? He wanted to see this finished, so that was really lovely. And yeah, so yes, a lot of people played a part in this, and so it's great because everyone gathers for the group photograph, and everyone feels an immense sense of pride, and as do I, right? You know, it's,
You certainly should be, because this is an absolutely breathtaking piece. When I was posting the pictures of it on social media, as I said, you guys have outdone yourselves. Like, this might be my favorite piece that you guys have ever done. It's simply incredible.
Thank you. I think, the people that are watching this video are watching it because they understand what I'm about to say, which is we got to make the move, we got to work on the films, and we played quite a big role in the films, but they could have ended at that moment, at the premiere, right, for us.
A lot of films do.
Almost every film we work on ends at the premiere, and the community that is built up around the films, you never really get to connect with. But because we've done the collectibles, it has kept us in this, Kelly, our friends, right? This incredible fan group, the Gandalf that's standing right behind you in cosplay, right? It just wouldn't have happened. We wouldn't have had a 25, 26 year lineage of connection to this beautiful world had we not done this. And we've obviously only been able to do this because people support us by purchasing these pieces that allow us to fund the level of artistry that's going on in our workshop. It's an amazing symbiotic, cyclic relationship, and I just thank my lucky stars for it, because we wouldn't be standing here today talking if we hadn't been able to do this. Huge thanks to the New Line folk that gave us the license, to Peter Jackson that supported us getting the license, to the actors that sent us to New York on that first day armed with a letter hand signed by all of them, with Christopher Lee hand signing the sample collectible that we had made of Chris incanting the Palantir as Saruman. If all of that hadn't happened, we wouldn't have got this, and we wouldn't be standing here. So I think people get that, right? And we're very lucky because of it.
Yeah. Well, quick question for you, because we're getting short on time now. Another big thing that you guys have coming out that's not on display because, it's not a statue, but you have Tales of the Shire.
Yes.
Your first video game from Weta comes out on, I believe it's Tuesday. It's on the 29th, whatever day that is, because I'm at Comic-Con. I don't know what the days are anymore, but it's on the 29th. So what can you tell us about Tales of the Shire? I'm sure you guys are excited to get that out.
Yeah, well, this is a game made by Weta Workshop in Wellington. It keeps us once again in the Shire, and it's a cozy Sims game. We hope people will love playing it. We love it. You get to be a hobbit. You get to grow food, prepare food, make friends, cook for your friends, and live a jolly hobbity life. And what can be any better than that? And I just hope people take it warmly to their hearts. The team of artists and creatives and technically skilled people that have made this game have poured their hearts and their souls into it for multiple years. And so I'm excited. I'm flying back on Sunday before the con finishes to make sure I'm back in time to do the launch of the game, which is really great. We're having a big get together down at our game shop where we actually make the game. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, and I think, speaking of Kelly here, I think in the Venn diagram of cozy and Lord of the Rings fan, like, Kelly's smack in the middle.
Yeah.
This is the game for Kelly. Yeah,
Yes,
she approves. Now, one last question. I feel like people in the comments will roast me if I don't ask it. So you can ask it and then dodge it. That's totally fine. But we know that there's new films coming out in Middle-earth. Is there any, early talks about Weta building anything or making anything for Hunt for Gollum? And this is where you dodge the question.
Well, we hope so. We genuinely, dearly hope so, because nothing could be better in our world.
Well, I'm sure I speak for all fans when we say there would be nothing better than to see future collectibles and future work in Middle Earth from the folks at Weta Workshop. Richard, thank you so much for taking the time
As
out
always.
from your busy con. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time
Thank you
on
for
Nerd of the Rings.
supporting us and supporting him, because he supports us, and that's a good thing.